President Moon Jae-in, currently in Germany to attend the G20 Summit later this week, met with Chinese President Xi Jinping in Berlin prior to leaving for the Hamburg multilateral meeting. Our chief Blue House correspondent, Moon Connyoung, joins us live from Berlin. Kanyong, so what do you know about the summit so far?
Well, Devin, it's day 2 of the South Korean president's 5-day visit to Germany, and today he met with Chinese President Xi Jinping right here in Berlin. I was at the venue myself to cover the first face-to-face between Presidents Moon and Xi. The host of the meeting was China, although it was South Korea that we're learning that first proposed the summit to take place on the sidelines of the G20. So naturally, President Xi arrived before President Moon and his team and waited before their 2 national flags and shook hands as the South Korean leader and his delegation walked in. That includes Deputy Prime Minister for Economy Kim Dong-yeon, Foreign Minister Kang Kyung-wha, National Security Adviser Chung Eui-yong, among others. On the Chinese side, China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi and State Councilor Yang Jiechi were among the 8 from the Chinese delegation. Now, President Moon highlighted the importance of South Korea-China relations and pinpointed that not only do the 2 countries share an important cooperative relationship in economic affairs, but also in denuclearizing North Korea and establishing peace in the Korean Peninsula. He also said he hopes the 2 sides can upgrade the South Korea-China relations to a de facto strategic cooperative partnership as this year marks 25 years of diplomatic ties between the 2 countries. Devin?
Right. Well, what about the Chinese president? What did Mr. Xi have to say?
As you know, Devin, the summit today garnered much attention from both countries because Seoul and Beijing at the moment aren't in the best relations possible. China objects South Korea's deployment of U.S. missile defense to the Korean Peninsula, and Korea objects China's apparent economic retaliation due to this objection. And also, it's the first meeting between the 2 sides since North Korea test-fired with the U.S., although South Korea has not yet confirmed, but the U.S. has confirmed as an intercontinental ballistic missile earlier this week. Now, President Xi managed to begin the conversation with an icebreaker, I suppose, noting a famous saying that the South Korean leader had used in his autobiography. It's an old saying from China, which means, as in the Yangtze River, the waves behind ride on the ones before. Now, Xi said President Moon is therefore familiar with the Chinese people. Mr. Xi said he hopes the 2 sides can take this opportunity to exchange views on matters of interest, and both countries should work on candidly discussing and keeping communication channel open to better enhance China-South Korea ties, understand each other, and, note, together defend peace in the region. Another note of interest is that President Moon thanked China for its state-run Shanghai Salvage Company's successful salvage operation of the Terrell ferry. The South Korean leader said he wanted to make sure he shedded light on the company's efforts to swiftly and safely bring the ship to shore. Now, the 2 sides carried on with the meeting for another hour after that behind closed doors, and we don't yet know whether the 2 leaders brought up the sensitive issue of THAAD deployment during the talks. Devin?